Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon, Judge.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Judge.
Afternoon.
Kind of dark and cloudy out there. I'm trying to see where the light will help us. Hello, Ms. Middlebrooks.
Afternoon,
What's our reset date?
July 14th.
July 14th?
Yes, ma'am.
1-4 or 1-3?
1-4.
1-4, okay. All right, if we're ready to start, I'll go ahead and make my announcements and we'll get started. Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. My name is Judge Regina Mincy, and we're going to begin our Fulton County State Court Expedited Accusations calendar. This is a calendar for cases in which individuals have been recently arrested and charged with certain misdemeanor. Soon after their arrest, the Fulton County Solicitor General's office has already accused
I
these.
need.
I think someone's not muted. Ms. Kim?
Oh, I'm sorry. I apologize.
Okay. And soon after their arrest, these individuals have been charged with certain misdemeanor offenses by the Solicitor General's office. And then the cases are bound over to the state court for Fulton County. Nevertheless, this is usually the defendant's first time appearing before a state court judge. We're able to address issues of bond, possible arraignment, and a possible plea offer if one has been made by the state at this juncture. I want to remind you that we will be giving you certain cases a reset date for the SAP calendar, which will be July the 14th. So that reset date is July 14th if it's applicable to your case. I want to also remind everyone that this entire proceeding is being live streamed. It is being live streamed on YouTube as well as recorded, so govern yourselves accordingly. I also want to remind the defendants or persons on this calendar that you do have a constitutional right to have an attorney to represent you at this bond hearing. You also have, and most of you know who your attorneys are by now, I'm sure. Also, you have a constitutional right to remain silent. I want you to remember that anything that you say about the facts, the circumstances, or the occurrences that have happened in your case can and will be used against you. Defer to your attorney, listen to them. The prosecutors are here. You don't want to say something that may jeopardize your case at a later date. All right, we are starting where, deputies?
Good afternoon, Your Honor. We're going to start in courtroom 2, position 2, and position 3.
And that's that Beatty, Christopher Beatty.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Did you say 3 and 10, or you just said 3?
I said 2 and 3. 2, he's position 2, and he's
I'm
position
sorry.
3.
Gotcha. Thank you. 2 and 3, because I thought that didn't make sense. Okay. It's Friday.
Yep.
All right. Mr. Christopher Beatty, I'm going to call your first case, which is 22 CR 0042224A. You're charged with 1 count of harassing communications. That offense date is September the 2nd, 2021. And I also have a second case with a different offense date. So are those different victims, Mr. Segura? Are they
No, they're both the same victim.
same victim? Let me call both cases in the essence of time a little bit. The second case is 22 CR 04226A, and you're charged with one count of battery family violence, a second count of willful obstruction of a law enforcement officer, and that offense date is November the 13th, 2021. And I understand both cases have the same victim. Do I have a victim or anyone's associated with the cases with Mr. Beatty on the Zoom call? I see quite a few names that I don't recognize that may be victims. We'll see as we go along. All right, pretrial, do you have anything?
Good afternoon, Your Honor. 17 cycles with history in Georgia and Alabama. Last arrest, April of 2019 for simple battery, family violence in Clayton County. No disposition listed on that arrest. Record does indicate the defendant has an open probation for terroristic threats, felony in Fulton County. Case 19 SC 164802. Sentenced August of 2019, 4 years probation.
Huh?
Record-
What'd she say?
Please don't speak, Mr. Beatty.
Yes, ma'am, I'm sorry.
Record also indicates the defendant appeared in felony first appearance today under case 22 CP 210309. Criminal damage to property in second degree. A 2019 misdemeanor conviction for simple battery, family violence in Clayton County, harassing phone calls and stalking. Misdemeanor, he has one felony conviction in New Jersey for possession of controlled substance, and a 2005 sale of marijuana in Fulton County. Nothing further to add.
All right, thank you. Mr. Segura, this is your case?
It is. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
The first case for harassing communication, it started on September the 2nd, 2021. In this case, police responded to the call at the incident location, which is 3470 Towanda Drive, Towanda spelled Towanda Drive, South Fulton, in which they spoke with Miss Kimberly Mumphrey. Kimberly spelled Kimberly, Mumphrey, Mumphrey. She told police that her boyfriend, who is a defendant, was arguing with her. At some point, he took her phone and saw that she was texting a police officer in reference to another incident concerning the defendant. Then she told the officer that the defendant has access to her social media accounts and actually changed the password so she would be able to access it, but he was able to access them. And then Instagram video post, he started calling her quote, bitch and hoe, and also stated, quote, ho, you're going to be sorry when I catch you. Then she told police that on the previous day, the defendant choked her and brandished a firearm. That resulted in Ms. Mumphrey going to her father's home in Coretta to file a police report, but the precinct was closed. She was not able to. Now, as to the second case of battery, family violence, and obstruction of a law enforcement officer, this occurred on November the 13th, 2021, almost 2 months after this first incident. In this case, Ms. Mumphrey called to police in reference to an assault call. When police arrived, they saw clear signs of injury. She had a partial swelling to her right eye, substantial swelling to her left eye, tenderness, redness, and she was bleeding heavily from her nose. And alongside, she also had laceration on her right leg, which was also bleeding. She told police that she was talking on the phone with a family member when the defendant became angry, irate, then punched her in the face, which caused her to fall down. When there was altercations going on, she screamed and the defendant fled. Later in the day, officers observed the vehicle with the defendant matching the description. At that point, there was a police chase in which at some point the defendant abandoned his vehicle, fled on foot, and when he was fleeing on foot, he had his right hand in his pockets, which to police thought he might be armed. And at some point, the agent entered a wooded area, and he was arrested. Because of this, the state is recommending an $8,000 surety bond, $1,000 for the harassing communications, $6,000 for the family battery violence, and $1,000 for the obstruction of a law enforcement officer. They're also asking for the conditions of one-day anger awareness, no alcohol, drugs, and weapons, a stay away from the incident location, which is 3470 Tawanda Drive, South Fulton, and no further contact with Kimberly Mumphrey. The interests are based on these facts, as well as special concerns about the safety of Ms. Mumphrey, because not only is this these two cases relate to her as the victim, but she also, in that case that pretrial noted, which was the criminal damage and second degree to property, was actually as well as Ms. Mumphrey as well. This case, which happened in April the 14th, 2022, the defendant broke into her home when she was gone and damaged the property, in which her mattress was damaged and a circular hole in it. Alongside, we have concerns about the potential danger the defendant could be to society. As Peter has noted, he does have a 2019 simple battery family violence guilty conviction. In this case, we are uncertain who the victim in this case was. But even so, considering it's a family violence, we still have concerns because it does show he does have violent tendencies to family members. Alongside, in 2018, he was arrested for aggravated assault. In 2019, he actually has a guilty conviction from Clayton for simple battery family violence. Again, we were not able to find who the victim was in that case, but it showed clear signs of violence. Alongside, we also concerned he could be a flight risk, and he does have a 2019 Alabama probation violation. Alongside, he spoke with the victim earlier today, where she stated that both she and the defendant are no longer in a relationship. They do not live together, but they do share one child. He stated that she is in fear for her life, and if the defendant is released, her life is in danger. Alongside, she did state that the defendant keeps breaking into her home and has stolen her birth certificate and social security card and has not received those items back. Not only that, she said that the defendant broke into her home last week. Alongside, she did confirm that she has no longer access to social media, in which the defendant does. And she also confirmed for the November 13th, 2021 incident, she did confirm that she does has 2 black eyes and a fractured nose. We're trying to get medical documentation as of now by cell phone. She said she's afraid. She wants to file a TPO, both on the defendant and his family who are harassing her. Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. And Ms. McLeod?
Yes, Your Honor, good afternoon.
Good
My
afternoon.
client is 47 years old. He is a native of Atlanta. He denies the allegations made by the complaining witness, Your Honor. They do share a child who's almost 5 years old, he tells me. He tells me that they have not been in contact since April of this year, but he has seen his daughter a few times through a third party who happens to be his sister. So there seems to be some visitation in place already, which he would like to maintain, Your Honor. My client works as a carpenter. He tells me he sometimes works with his father, who is a roofer. He does not have any savings or anything to pay for a bond, Your Honor. So I would ask the court to take that into consideration in setting a bond for him. Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. And Ms. McLeod, do you have a different or new address for the defendant?
No, Your Honor, but he tells me that he no longer lives with her. He hasn't lived there in a while. But I can ask him to tell the court what his new address is, Your Honor.
Or you can Well, I was gonna say they could put it in the chat, but
Yes, it can be put in the chat and I can get it. I do have a phone number for him.
okay, good. All right, for the first case, ending in 224A, the harassing communications, I'm going to enter a $3,000 surety bond. I'm going to order a stay away from 3470 to Wanda Drive in South Fulton. Gonna order no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond. And I think that should be it for that case. And, oh, I'm sorry, nope, and no further contact with the victim, Kimberly Munfrey. Is there anything else I need to take up with that case, counsel?
My Honor.
No, Your Honor.
All right. Then the second case ending in 4226A. I'm going to enter a $7,000 surety bond, $6,000 on the battery family violence, $1,000 on the willful obstruction. Order the same conditions again. Stay away. Is there a different address that you have, Mr. Segura, for the second case or no?
No, they're all the exact same address.
Okay, stay away from the same address. No further contact with the victim. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond. And I'm gonna also, I'm sorry, Miss Middlebrooks, in both cases, if there's to be any visitation with the child, that be facilitated or continue to be facilitated by the third party, which is a sister. I'm just gonna say any third party. I won't to the sister that's been doing it. But certainly, if there's gonna be any visitation, it needs to be facilitated by a third party.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, that should conclude these cases.
Thank you. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Get your hat. Next, we have position 15, Thompson.
Okay.
You gotta keep your head on.
All right, this is case number 22, CR 004236C, Tracy Thompson. You're charged with one count of simple battery family violence with the offense date of March 14th, 2022, pretrial.
Second arrest, first arrest was May of 1997 for aggravated assault in Fulton County. No disposition listed on that arrest. She is recommended for UJR pretrial. Nothing further.
All right. Ms. Tortorella,
Yes, good afternoon, Your Honor.
good afternoon.
For the simple battery family violence, a $2,500 surety bond that the defendant have no contact with the victim, Jared Barber, and the first name spelled J as in Jack, E-R-R-O-D as in dog, Barber, traditional spelling, to stay away from the incident location at 879 Hobson Street, Southwest in Atlanta. And Hobson, for the record, is H-O-B as in boy, S-O-N as in Nancy. A third-party transfer of the child, no drugs or alcohol, no weapons, and no new violations of Georgia law. Your Honor, also, before I start, the victim is present on the Zoom hearing, just to advise you, Your Honor.
Okay.
So on March 14th, 2022, an officer responded to a dispute call at the incident location. stated already on record. Upon arrival, the officer spoke to the victim, Jared Barber, who said his ex-wife, defendant Tracy Thompson, showed up at his job on said date unannounced. She later showed up at Mr. Barber's home. She rang the doorbell, and their daughter, initials A as in apple, B as in boy, answered the door, and the defendant picked up the child, attempting to take her. Daughters are about 6 years old. Mr. Barber came outside and grabbed his daughter, AM, back because this was his weekend with his children. This is when the defendant pushed Mr. Barber and pulled his hair. This occurred in front of witnesses AM and Miss Bilal. Miss Bilal is the victim's girlfriend, Miss Tishan Bilal. Fiance. Mr. Barber advised the officers he usually meets with the defendant for the exchange of the children in a public place to avoid this type of interaction. Mr. Barber explained to the officer that he and the defendant have been divorced for years. They do not communicate and have joint custody of their children. Mr. Barber explained to the officer that the defendant had been harassing him and his new girlfriend, Ms. Tishan Bilal, for months. And all these events did occur in Fulton County, Georgia. Your Honor, we're asking for that $2,500 surety bond, and I would like the court to take judicial notice that on the 1997 aggravated assault, even though it's remote, it shows on the jail screen in Odyssey as a conviction. And so for that reason, Your Honor, she has a conviction of aggravated assault on her record. Therefore she does pose the risk of reoffending while out on bond and committing felony offenses while out on bond as well. For that reason, we're asking for that $2,500 surety bond with the no contact, nothing further from the state.
All right. Mr. Barber,
Yes, ma'am.
do you wish to address the court?
Yes, and also,
Hold on a second. You do want to speak to the court. If you do, I need to swear you in and I need to see your face.
okay.
All right. And this is your case, Ms. Kim.
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you mind if the victim goes before you, or do you want to go first?
You go first. May we please go first?
Okay. So hold on, Mr. Barber. So I'm sorry, Ms. Kim, I didn't quite hear. You said the witness can go first?
No. I go first.
You want to go first? Okay,
Yes,
go ahead and go
Your Honor.
first. I'm sorry.
That's
Go
okay.
ahead.
Yes. Mr. Thompson, Mrs. Thompson is actually, Miss Thompson is 49 years old, and she has been here in Georgia for more than 29 years. And she has total of 6 children. She has a strong ties to the community. She has a job. I don't think she is a flight risk at all. And she has a strong ties. They have 3 children together, 17, 15, and 7 years old. And right now, they don't live together, so we do not object to any stay away or third-party transfer, child visitation, or no further contact. We have no objection on those. However, we would like to request for signature on bond as pretrial also recommended. 1997 is very remote, and this is one of the first time, and she denies the allegation. There was no hitting, no altercation, and it was father and father's new girlfriend is kind of being dramatic. Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, Mr. Barber, can you raise your right hand for me? Do you affirm that the testimony that you're about to give is the truth and nothing but the truth under the penalty of perjury?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and answer me this, are you in fear of Miss Tracy Thompson?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and so you all do not live together, is that correct?
No, ma'am.
Okay, all right, and so this incident location, the 879 Hobson Street Southwest, that is your address?
Yes, that's me and my wife on address.
Okay, got you. And so what else would you like to tell me about this situation on this date, March 14th?
So my children was staying with me at the time. I arrested them in school and everything. So I had custody of my children because she gave my children up and told me to get them. So I arrested my children all in school. They were staying there. So I still got my son with me, my 15-year-old son with me now. So she been harassing us back and forth through social media, text message, emails, me and my wife. And also, I'm gonna put in, she came to my job unannounced. And I work for the city of East Point. And last year, my coworker got killed from a domestic violence because his girlfriend at the time won't leave his house and won't let him be with nobody else. So she killed him. So I'm really shaking up what she would do, and to my kids.
And the kids' ages again were how old? 17?
17, 15, and 7.
Okay. And so you have certain visitation weekends and things of that nature with the kids,
Yes, ma'am.
and that's
But
been
at the time of the incident, I had my kids. They were living with me. Until that happened, I sent my girls back home and kept my son so I can keep the confusion down. But it still went on. He started harassing us repeatedly. I had to take a restraining order out on her.
And have you just recently gotten married, or?
Yes, I just we gonna get married. It's my fiance.
Oh, it's your fiance. Okay,
Yes, ma'am. I just called my wife.
okay. All right. Any cross-examination by either counsel for Mr. Barber?
Nothing from the state, Your Honor.
Nothing from defense.
All right. Ms. Kim, you told me that the defendant was working. Do you know where or what type of job?
She works at a rental car place, and I don't know exactly what she does.
It's Hertz rental car.
Okay.
Her rental car, I guess. Yeah,
Hertz rental
she
car.
rents out the car to the customers.
All right. How long did she work there?
A month.
1 month?
Yes, ma'am.
And so, Mr. Barber, if she were to get out on bond, do you fear for your safety?
Yes, and also she got my stepkids involved. Like yesterday, I went pick up my kids because they mama wasn't there at home, so I had to go pick up my kids. And my stepson was there, and he threatened us, and he started throwing rocks at the car when I was picking up my kids. So they involved too. So I'm like, literally, will they come back over there, mess with me and my family?
Do you have a third party or someone else that could transport or pick up the kids? Besides
No,
you?
ma'am, other than my wife. Other than my wife, no, ma'am. It just, we got
That
a meeting
probably would
place.
not be a good idea. You don't have a relative or cousin, friend, or someone?
No, ma'am.
And so your visitation is ordered through the Superior Court?
Yes. And I'm also going to family court today, so I can't get like full custody of my kids because she ain't right in her mind. I wish she can get help and leave me alone.
Okay.
Can I say something?
I strongly recommend you to stay silent. You have every right to remain silent. Unless it is directly related to the bond, please do not talk about the facts of the case at all. Thanks.
All right. I'm going to order the signature bond, but I'm going to, the amount will be $5,000. And I'm going to order with this $5,000 signature bond, very strict conditions, Ms. Thompson, and I hope you can comply with them or else you'll be right back in Fulton County Jail, okay?
All right.
I'm gonna give you an opportunity, but I want it to, there's some strong allegations. And if Mr. Barber has his order from Superior Court of Visitation, I hope that it can happen without any future incidents. So will you be able to do that if you're on bond?
Yes, ma'am.
Make sure that nothing else happens with no one else, no other third parties, because you all don't have a third party involved. And I'm very concerned about that.
Yes, ma'am.
If he gets a TPO, then you've got some other conditions you're gonna have to work out so that you don't violate those or any future ones and these bond conditions.
Okay.
I'm going to say that there should be no further violent contact with Mr. Barber. But I want you to stay away from 879 Hobson Street Southwest, which is his address. So if you all are to have any allowed visitation, I wish you would find someone to help you facilitate it so that it is not either of you, that you would do it at a public location. And
Yes,
obviously,
we can do it at the police station. We can drop
sorry?
it off at the police station. Right
Okay.
there, at East Point Police Station, right there.
That is a good recommendation,
Yes.
that you all exchange. I'm not gonna order it because there may be some other, safe place for both of you. But I do recommend the police station is always a good place.
And
Yeah. I'm sorry,
excuse
Mr.
me.
Barber, yes,
And can you order no contact at my job too?
yes. Well, she's not to have any further violent contact, but I'm going to make that stay away from your residence location on Hobson Street and to stay away from your job. If she comes to your job again, call the police and she'll be arrested.
Okay.
So she is not to come to your job and not to come to your house.
And I'm sorry to interrupt, Your Honor. Can the Mr. Barber send you or Miss Middlebrooks the address for that location via
Okay.
chat?
Okay,
Yes.
Thank you.
okay. You know how to put it in the chat, Mr. Barber?
I'm gonna find out.
Yeah, do you see chat down there in the middle, sort of, I think? So that my litigation manager can have that address.
Yana, is this bond through pretrial or through the jail?
Pre-trial, I'm sorry. That's a $5,000 signature bond through pre-trial. I'm going to order the one-day anger awareness course. I've got to stay away from the two addresses, home and work, no further violent contact with Mr. Barber. If they can do a third-party transfer for visitation, that is my preference. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond. And I think that is it. Anything else we need to take up?
Nothing further. Your Honor.
Have you found the chat feature, Mr. Barber, to put the address in there?
Yes, ma'am. Did
Oh,
you
I see it. Oh, I see it. Yes,
Is that his job?
That's
I'm
my
sorry.
job.
yes. Anything else, council, we need to take up?
It's through pretrial, Judge?
Yes,
Okay.
5,000 SOB through pretrial.
All right, you're done. All right.
All right.
Position 9, McNeil.
All right, good luck to you, Mr. Barber. Thank you for your time.
Thank y'all.
All right, you're welcome. All right, position 9 is 22 CR 0042225D, Kayla Addison McNeil. You're charged with 1 count of DUI, driving under the influence of alcohol. Also a 2nd count of violating restriction of driver license, and a 3rd count of DUI under the influence of alcohol less safe, all with the offense date of June 29, 2022. Pretrial.
3 cycles with history in Georgia and Texas. Last arrest, March of this year, DUI, driving under the influence of alcohol in Forsyth County, Georgia. She is on probation for that charge. Case number 22M1031B, sentenced May of this year, 5 days confinement and 12 months probation. Have a 2010 misdemeanor conviction out of Texas for possession of marijuana, less than 2 ounces. Nothing further.
All right. Ms. Tartarella.
Yes, Your Honor. For the DUI per se, we're asking for a $5,000 surety bond. For the DUI less safe, a $4,000 surety bond. For the violation of driver's license restriction charge, a $2,000 surety. That would be a total of $11,000 good bond. The conditions is no driving, ADET, no drugs or alcohol, no weapons, and no new violations of Georgia law. Your Honor, just to point out, in her driver's history, it shows that she has a current active suspension on her license due to her first conviction. This is her 2nd and 5 and 2nd and 10. And the state will be referring this case to DUI court. She has a reckless driving conviction in her driver's history out of Milton Municipal Court. And the state needs to verify whether in fact that was a DUI reduced to reckless. Therefore, that would probably make it a 3 and 5, 3 and 10. But right now it's a 2 and 5. And so the facts of this case are as follows, Your Honor. On June 29th, 2022, around 11:41 p.m., the Milton Police Department was dispatched to the area of Hopewell Road and Double Creek Lane in Milton in reference to an erratic driver call. So there was a reporting party who advised dispatch that the driver had pulled into a nearby driveway. Upon arrival, the officer observed a white 2014 Mitsubishi Outlander parked in front of 1410 Hopewell Road. The officer observed the driver, defendant Kayla McNeil, asleep behind the wheel with the vehicle running. The officer also observed significant damage to the vehicle. The officer was able to wake the defendant up and got the defendant to turn off the vehicle. The officer then instructed the defendant to step out of her vehicle, and the officer observed the defendant was unstable on her feet and appeared on numerous occasions to almost fall over. While speaking to her, the officer had to stop the defendant from walking forward into the roadway and into traffic. While speaking to the defendant, the officer observed an overwhelming odor of alcoholic beverage emanating from her person. Her eyes were glassy, slurred speech, and she was speaking incoherently. Officer noticed the defendant was unable to comprehend the question she was being asked. The defendant was able to tell the officer she was coming from a date. Defendant refused field sobriety evaluations and was placed under arrest for DUI. She was read Georgia implied consent for suspects ages 21 or older, and the defendant agreed to the state administered breath test. The results of the breath test showed a measure of alcohol content of 0.370. The defendant was operating on a suspended license DUI permit outside of the established permit restrictions. Now, these events that occur in Fulton County, Georgia. Your Honor, we're concerned for the safety of the public as well. Also, Your Honor, she's already been convicted of DUI In 2010, she was convicted of possession of marijuana less than 2 ounces in Georgetown County Court in Texas. Therefore, Your Honor, she is a multi-state offender. She poses a risk of reoffending, and she may have substance issues, Your Honor. So for that reason, we're asking for the $11,000 surety bond total, the conditions: no driving, ADET, no drugs or alcohol, no weapons, and no new violations of Georgia law. Nothing further.
All right. Ms. Kim?
Yes, Your Honor. Ms. McNeil is 30 years old, and he has been here in Georgia ever since November 2021. So he's relatively new to Texas, but his parents, her parents and her brother, they're all here. She has 2 jobs that she's actually very actively working. She has a college degree, and her major was psychology. And we would like to request for signature on bond. And yet, if Your Honor is not inclined to give her a signature on bond because of past DUI history, we would like to request for $1,000 each charge, totaling of $3,000 surety bond, Your Honor. Thank you.
And Your Honor, just to remind, she's in violation of her probation at this moment due to her subsequent arrest. Nothing further.
All right. I'm going to order a surety bond in the amount of the $11,000, $5,000 on the first DUI, of alcohol concentration 0.08 grams or greater. The second count, the $2,000 surety bond with the violations, the driver's license, and a $4,000 surety bond on the DUI less safe for a total of $11,000 surety bond. I'm going to order, again, no driving under any circumstances. You don't have a license anyway, Ms. McNeil, so you should not be driving. And many other options you can use if you need to go somewhere with ride shares, Ubers, things of that nature. I am going to order ADET. I'm going to order no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond. And I think that is it. Council, anything else I need to order?
Nothing from the state, Your Honor.
Nothing further, Your Honor.
All right. And that will conclude your case.
You want to say something? Raise your hand. She has a question.
I strongly recommend you to stay silent. You have every right to be silent.
Is it a question about your bond condition?
I'll call you about questions. I can answer all, if you have any questions, okay?
It's about my bond.
Okay, is there something you don't understand about the conditions?
No, well, kind of. I don't understand why it's so much.
I'll call you and explain to you.
It's based on your history, and so that's why I ordered that type of bond.
Okay.
Good luck to you.
Next, we have position 11, Mills. You can have a seat.
This case number 22 CR 004135E, Maurice Mills. You're charged with 1 count of criminal trespass and a 2nd count of criminal. Is this position 11?
Yes, Your Honor.
And I saw in the chat, you said there was going to be a waiver of appearance, but he is actually here.
Yeah, I guess.
Okay.
So.
I was confused, just making sure I didn't have the wrong case.
Me too.
All right. And you're charged with 2 counts of criminal trespass, both with the offense date of June 28, 2022. Pre-trial?
9 cycles, last arrest February of this year for possession of drug-related objects in Atlanta, Georgia. That was a conviction Record indicates a 2021 misdemeanor conviction for obstruction of law enforcement officers out of Gwinnett, and a 2012 theft by shoplifting, 3 violations of probation within the past 10 years, a 2013 criminal damage to property, in the 2nd degree interference with custody and cruelty to animals. He was offered first offenders and it was sealed in 2017. Nothing further to add.
Okay. Hold on 1 second. I have, it looks like 2 messages in the chat. Ms. Middlebrooks, are you able to, I'm not for sure, Mr. Howard, his camera, he said that, have we, I don't know who that is. if
Judge,
that-
you can keep going. It's not for this case.
Oh, it's not, okay. And did you look at the Michelle Todd to everyone?
I think that's the same individual. They just changed their name from iPhone to Michelle Todd.
Okay, I was trying to make sure it wasn't a victim on one of the cases. All right, thank
She's
you.
fine for now.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Jordan. All right, go ahead, Ms. Tartarella.
Yes, Your Honor. For the criminal trespass, a $2,000 surety bond. For the first count and for the second count of criminal trespass, a $1,000 surety, which would be a total of $3,000, a good bond. The conditions is that he stay away from the incident location at the Citgo 655 Cleveland Avenue Southwest in Atlanta. No weapons, no drugs or alcohol, and no new violations of Georgia law. Your Honor, this defendant is currently on hold. He has a hold out of Gwinnett County. He has a current open case, 21 CR 000341E for simple battery family violence and battery family violence. The offense date was December 17th, 2019. He was granted a signature bond of $2,500 through the jail by this case by Superior Court Judge Linda Bosley on December 19th, 2019. So he's currently in violation of his previous bond order due to this subsequent arrest, Your Honor. On June 28th, 2022, the defendant, Maurice Mills, did intentionally damage the property of Citgo gas station at 655 Cleveland Avenue without consent by assaulting another customer. The defendant pushed a customer into a chip rack, causing it to break, and knocked over a boiled peanut machine, causing damage to it. The damage there too is $500 or less. Citgo had surveillance video of the defendant damaging their property. The defendant also committed criminal trespass when he refused to leave the incident location after being instructed to leave by the store clerk. The defendant was arrested, and all these events did occur in Fulton County, Georgia. Your Honor, we do have, again, concerns that he'll reoffend. He currently has an open case where he's currently in violation of the bond order, and he poses a risk of reoffense as well because he has those 10 cycles on his record, as well as he's definitely a flight risk. He currently has a holdout of Gwinnett County. So for those reasons, Your Honor, we are asking for the $3,000 total surety bond with the conditions already stated. Nothing further.
All right.
Yes, Your Honor. He is not a flight risk. He will be basically transported to Gwinnett County because of the hold. So he's going nowhere except Gwinnett County, Your Honor. We would like to request for signature bond for both charges. He has been homeless for the last 10 months, and he's been very challenged. He does not have a job yet, except that he has odd jobs like he will have pressure washers here and there, doing some odd jobs here. He has been here in Georgia for all his life, and yet he does not have anybody who can help him to bond out from the jail. Please give him a signature on bond so he can go take care of, he can go to Gwinnett County Jail. Thanks.
All right. I'm going to order a $2,000 surety bond, $1,000 on each charge. I'm going to order a stay away from the Sitco at 665 Cleveland Avenue. I'm going to order no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond. And I believe that's all I need to take up. Anything else, council?
Nope, nothing further, Your Honor.
All right,
Nothing.
all right, thank you.
Thank you.
Position 8, Howard. We also have the interpreter. We have okay. They're ready in courtroom 3 for the interpreter case.
Okay,
Actually, if Ms. Kim is doing the interpreter case, then I'll just have to only do Ms. Gant's cases. Let me see, you are Mr. Howard.
right. Does he need, Miss Kim, does he need to go into the breakout room first with the interpreter?
Yes, yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Yes, position 8, Howard.
He's a conflict.
Oh, Ms. McLeod.
Yes, Your Honor.
I'm sorry, you're on.
Mr. Howard is my client.
Okay, I'm sorry, not Miss Kim. Okay. So Mr. Jordan, can you put Mr. Howard, I'm sorry. No, because they have to do that from the jail. So is the interpreter, where's my interpreter? There we go. Okay,
Right here, Your Honor.
I see. Deputy, how do we do this logistically? Can the,
They just need to go, courtroom 3 just needs to go in a breakout with the interpreter case with Ms. McLeod.
okay. All right. You with me, Mr. Jordan? Hope I didn't mess that up.
They're going already, Judge.
Good, okay. And Miss McLeod needs to be there, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
For Mr. Howard?
No, for the interpreter case, Ms. McLeod.
Oh, that's
I'm
number,
sorry, I'm getting confused. Yeah, for Mr. Howard.
No, I don't have an interpreter
No, no,
case
no,
that I'm
no.
aware of.
No, Mr. I'm sorry, my fault. It's for you're for Mr. Howard in courtroom 2,
right, with position 12, is that correct?
position 8.
My client is position 8, Your Honor, Mr. Howard, Rondi Howard,
Uh-huh.
Rondy.
And I thought that the person that needed the interpreter deputy was position number 12, Diaz Navarro Diaz, no?
Your Honor, they're already in the breakout room.
And who's in the breakout room?
Ms. Kim, courtroom 3, and the interpreter.
And they need to speak to the defendant, in which defendant needs to be in the breakout room?
Courtroom 3 is in the breakout room.
Okay. And which defendant is that?
Position
It's
12.
position 12.
Oh, it is 12, okay. All right, because I kept hearing 8 versus 12, so all right. So
Position 8 is in courtroom 2 right now. That's Mr. Howard. That's Ms.
right, and we're
McLeod.
ready to proceed on him.
Yes,
Good.
Your Honor.
Okay, all right. You're Mr. Randy Howard?
Rondi is now.
Oh, Rondi, I'm sorry. 22 CR 004235E. You're charged at 1 count of battery with the offense date of June 19, 2022. Pre-trial?
10 cycles, last arrest, June of this year, simple battery and robbery in Clayton County. That is an open case. 258446. Record reflects an open probation for possession of a firearm or knife during the commission or attempt to commit certain felonies. Case number 2019R0031. Sentenced May of 2019, 5 years probation. Record indicates 2 violations of probation within the past 10 years, a 2012 misdemeanor conviction for obstruction of law enforcement officers fleeing or attempting to elude, and a 2010 possession of marijuana less than an ounce which he pled no on. Nothing further.
All right, Mr. Segura.
This case occurred on June the 19th, 2022, in which officers responded to a battery violence call at the location of 3465 Leisure Lane, South Fulton. In that location, the police spoke with Miss Mitchell Todd outside her home. Mitchell spelled Michell, Todd, Todd, in which she told police that her ex-boyfriend, who was a defendant, came to her residence against her wishes. At that point, the defendant browsed her phone, which was left unattended. At that point, the defendant became irate, angry, grabbed Ms. Todd by her neck, and then punched her multiple times with a closed fist. This resulted in visible injuries, which were scratches to the right side of her neck and her lower jaw. Because of this, the state is recommending a $5,000 surety bond, 1-day anger awareness, no alcohol, drugs, and weapons, a stay away from the incident location, which is 3465 Leisure Lane, South Fulton, and no further contact with Michelle Todd. Foundations are based on these facts. I saw special concerns about the safety of Ms. Todd. We spoke with Ms. Todd earlier today, where she stated that both she and the defendant are no longer in a relationship, did not live together, and she is currently 3 months pregnant with the defendant's child. We were especially concerned for her safety because she states that the defendant knew she was pregnant at the time that he attacked her. So if those concerns that not only was she pregnant, but because the knowledge that Ms. Todd was pregnant did not deter the defendant from attacking her. Alongside, she stated that she wants to have no contact with the defendant at all, not in person, email, or even a third party. Alongside, she noted that the defendant has anger issues and needs anger management, and that she's very fearful of the defendant. Alongside of concerns, because we feel like he is a danger to the community. As Petra has noted, he does have that open case for simple battery and robbery in Clayton County, which was only less than 8 days ago. Alongside, he does have his on probation for a firearm and knife commission, using a possession of a firearm or a knife during term of commission of certain felonies from Fayette County, in which he does have a 5-year probation, in which, based on community's acts, he seems to break. Alongside, he does, as Petra has noted, he does have probation violations, one from 2017 for the possession of weapons, as well as the one 2012. So because of this, we're deeply concerned from Ms. Todd. Thank you, Your Honor.
All right.
Your Honor, my client is 33 years old. He has significant ties to the community. All his family reside here in Metro Atlanta. He was born and raised here. He tells me he has a 12-year-old son for whom he is the primary caretaker. The child lives with him. He works in construction. He tells me he works for his dad and has done so pretty much all of his adult life. He denies the allegations being made by the complaining witness, Your Honor. They do not live together and they have not lived together ever. My client is not interested in any contact with the complaining witness. I would like the court to, I understand that my client does have some history, but his history is not a history of violence. He does not have a conviction. There is an allegation that he has a charge from 2019, but there's no conviction for anything violent in his history, Your Honor. And I would ask the court to take that into consideration in setting a reasonable bond for him. Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay.
Your Honor, can I address you?
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I did not notice. You're the victim in this case, Ms. Todd.
Yes, ma'am.
Please raise your right hand for me. I didn't mean to overlook you. Do you affirm that the testimony that you're about to give is the truth and nothing but the truth under the penalty of perjury?
Yes.
All right. What would you like to tell me about this case, Ms. Todd?
Mr. Howard have a very, very bad temper, And he's very demanding for one. And for two, for you to actually like kind of just fight me and jump on me and do the things that you did, I don't think like giving him an SOB would be a good idea.
All right, are you in fear of
Like you,
Are you in fear of Mr.
I'm-
Howard?
yes,
Okay. Do you all reside together?
no,
Okay. So the 3465 Leisure Lane, that's whose address?
mine.
Okay.
Even when he was just locked up, in Clay County before Fulton County came and got him, you called me, you was talking reckless, was just angry, just talking real reckless. And his mom had to get on the phone and like kind of tell him that's not how you talk to nobody and address nobody. But he got a very anger issue.
All right.
And I do have bruises, but I think the ones that's up under my neck, I don't think them scars gonna never go away. So I might have to get a small little tattoo or something to cover it, but it's not cute for me to be at work just bundle all up because you bruised me, because you don't know how to control your anger.
All right.
Your Honor, may I ask Ms. Todd a couple of questions?
Yes, you may. Mr.
No, I don't.
Secretary.
I don't want to talk with him. If that's his lawyer, public defender, I don't want to speak with him.
That's
For the
not
state.
Mr. Segura is the prosecutor.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, good afternoon, Ms. Todd.
Oh, okay.
So on this incident date, the defendant was not permitted to come to your house, and yet he came.
I mean, I was in the car with him when he jumped on me. I was like literally in the car when he was actually fighting me. And at the time I was 3 weeks. I just turned 4 weeks earlier this week. So you know I'm pregnant. So why would you even just do the things that you did? In the midst of the fine or whatever, your father, he stood there and watched it like it was funny.
So he knew that you were pregnant when he attacked you.
Yes.
And again, the injuries were to your neck and your lower jaw.
Yes.
And did you say that his father would also witness this as well?
Yes, like his father actually stood there and just watched it. He was like, it's not his business. I understand it might don't be your business. And I am a mother or two, and I do have a son. But as a mother, I'm not gonna stand there and allow my son to jump on a woman. I don't care who started, how it started. I'm not gonna stand there and allow my son to jump on a woman.
I see. Very true. And just a confirmation, you all fearful of him if that is released that he could come back.
I can't hear you. Say that again.
You're all fearful that if he is released, that he will come to see you.
He might don't come to my residence. I'm just gonna stay out the area, like where everybody go. It's like a little bar lounge. So I'm just gonna stay from up there because his temper is real bad.
I see. Thank you.
But I just don't want no contact, no violent contact, no third party, no emails, no call, no nothing.
Okay. All right, I'm gonna order a surety bond, and I'm gonna order that in the amount of $7,000. I'm going to order that Mr. Howard would stay away from 3465 Leisure Lane. You're not to go back there for any reason, or to go there for any reason, Mr. Howard. If you do, you'll be arrested. There's to be no further contact with this victim, Michelle Todd. Do not contact her for any reason, under any circumstances, not through email, not through social media, nothing at all. To be absolutely no contact with her. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond. And I think that's all I need to take up. Anything else, counsel?
No, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor.
What was that amount again?
$7,000 surety bond.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, good luck to you, Ms. Todd.
All right, I'm free to leave Zoom?
Yes, you're free to go. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Mhm.
Position 1, Mr. Owaski.
This is case number 22 CR 004237E. Is it Awasika? Not sure if I'm pronouncing the last name correct.
That's correct, ma'am.
Sorry.
Yes, ma'am, you said it right.
Okay. You're charged with 1 count of violation of protective restraining order. The offense date is December 27th, 2021. Pre-trial?
13 cycles with history in Georgia and California. Last arrest, June of 2021 for simple battery and robbery in Alpharetta, Georgia. That is an open case, 21 CP 20031. Record also indicates an additional open case for criminal trespass, harassing communication, simple battery against a person who is 65 or older or pregnant at the time of offense in Fulton County. Case number 21 CR 002689E. Also, additional open case for possession of firearm by convicted felon, making improper U-turn, operating without vehicle without lights in Fulton County, 21 CP 19773. Also, Judge, this defendant appeared in first appearance for case 22 CP 210295 and 22 CP 210296. Both charged were aggravated stalking. He has 3 violations of probation within the past 10 years. He has a 2017 misdemeanor conviction in Rockdale for, it's a CWAC charge. I will type it in the chat. A 2017 felony possession of controlled substance. In 2006, he was offered first offenders and it was sealed. Nothing further.
All right. Ms. Tortorella?
Yes, Your Honor. And just to advise, it's raining over on my end. So if I need to, I'll log in from my phone if my lights go out. We're offering the defendant a $5,000 cash bond. That's the bond recommendation. Conditions is no contact with the victim. Her name is Mary Biggs. The last name is spelled B-I-G-G-S. Psych evaluation, no drugs or alcohol, no weapons, and no new violations of Georgia law. Your Honor, as you've heard from pretrial, he was recently arrested along with this case for those 2 felony cases that involve the charges of aggravated assault. The first one, 22 CP 210295. The incident date was May 27th, 2022, where the defendant placed Miss Mary Biggs, the same victim in this case, under surveillance when he parked in front of Miss Biggs' house. Once the defendant observed Miss Biggs noticed him, he left the scene on said date. He violated his TPO order and was charged with aggravated stalking, felony. Currently, I don't believe, I'm not sure what the bond is at this point for that case. 22 CP 210296, incident date February 1st, 2022, also involves Miss Biggs, where defendant came to Miss Biggs' residence and rung her doorbell in violation of his TPO order. He was charged with aggravated stalking again on that date. I'm not sure of what that bond is. Now, the current open cases, Your Honor, the misdemeanor case 21 CR 002689E, simple battery on a pregnant female, harassing communications, and criminal trespass. It involves the same victim, Your Honor. It occurred on June 1st, 2021. It was filed on June 5th, 2021, where the defendant called Ms. Biggs numerous times on her cell phone. Ms. Biggs had told the defendant not to contact her multiple times before. She called the police on that date for that reason. Then the police came again on June 1st, 2021, for Ms. Biggs called 911 a second time, where Ms. Biggs advised the police that defendant arrived at the location. Ms. Biggs ran to the bathroom in an attempt to lock herself in and was unsuccessful. The defendant punched Ms. Biggs, who was pregnant with his child, numerous times with an open and closed fist, pulled her hair, and took her cell phone. Now, what I see is that felony cases derives from the same facts as this one, Your Honor. So at this point, the state's looking into whether this case has been transferred down to the state court, that felony case. Defendant was granted a $5,000 good bond for this misdemeanor case where Judge Williams imposed that he have no contact with the victim, Ms. Biggs, and he is currently in violation of this bond order, Your Honor, given the subsequent arrests. Also, 22 CP 197773, the offense date is February 23rd, 2021. It was filed February 24th, 2021. For possession of firearm by a convicted felon. He received an $8,500 surety bond and is in violation of that bond order. So he's currently in violation of 2 bond orders, in violation of his TPO order. Your Honor, the reason why this case is before you today is because we need more time to investigate as to whether Ms. Biggs either consented to contact that day at the on the incident date. It seems like she did not, based on this, but we need to speak to the officer involved. On December 27, 2021, with this case before this court, defendant Ola Oluwa Awusika violated his protection order issued by Gwinnett County Judge when he came to Emory University Hospital Midtown at 550 Peachtree Street Northeast in Atlanta to be with Mary Biggs during the birth of their child. All these events occurred in Fulton County, Georgia. We were able to contact Miss Biggs, who I believe she's in the Zoom. I'm not for certain, but she said that they're not in a relationship. They do not live together. They share a child. She stated that the defendant has continued to contact her since the incident, and for this reason, Your Honor, we are asking for that cash bond. We have fears for the victim, intimidation of witness, as well as the risk that he'll reoffend, not only reoffend, but he will commit felonies while out on bond and violate his bond orders, as it's evident before this court that he already has. So for that reason, we're asking for that $5,000 cash bond with no contact with the victim, a psych evaluation, NDA, no weapons, and no new violations of Georgia law. Nothing further.
Okay. All right, Miss Gant, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Awusika is 26 years old. He has been in the Atlanta, Georgia area his entire life. He shares a 6-month-old child with the complaining witness, Miss Mary Biggs. Mr. Awusika is a high school graduate. He also has 2 years of college in the area of psychology. He is currently employed as a salesman at AutoNation Value. He has been in that position for the last 2.5 years. Your Honor, my client strongly denies the allegations. We heard a lot about allegations against him, and I would just remind the court that at this point, he has not been convicted. He is presumed innocent, and all of these cases are allegations. My client maintains that the complaining witness is committed to just basically trumping up these false charges against him. Your Honor, I am requesting a signature bond on Mr. Awusika's behalf. And if Your Honor determines that he is ineligible, I would ask for a surety bond of no more than $1,000. Your Honor, clearly he is not a flight risk. According to my research in Odyssey, we did not receive bond for the 2 other matters that are on the calendar, that were on the calendar today. We are unopposed to the no contact and the stay away orders, but we would ask for the court a third party transfer. Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay. And tell me about children again, is there?
There is a 6-month-old child that he shares with Ms. Biggs, the complaining witness.
And Your
And
Honor, they're
that's
not, I'm sorry, Attorney Gant, go ahead.
I wanted to add that he plans to begin the legitimation process, Your Honor. He has not done that yet.
And yes, Your Honor, I was going to add, they're not married, so therefore, we are opposed to third-party contact at this time for the child.
And Your Honor, if I may also, this doesn't go to the third party transfer, but regarding the state's request for a psych evaluation, I do not have any concerns regarding my client's competence, and the state has not put forth any basis for a psychiatric evaluation. Again, these are allegations, Your Honor, which my client strongly denies.
All right, I'm going to enter a surety bond in the amount of $3,000. And I'm going to order that there be no further contact with the victim, Ms. Biggs. If there's any exchange of the child or visitation, it be done through third party escort of some sort. And no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond. And that's all that I need to order, I believe. Is that correct, counsel?
Nothing further from the state, Your Honor.
Okay.
It's nothing
From the defense. I apologize.
Nothing
What's your
further from the
position today?
state. That was 3,000 good bond?
Okay. I'm sorry.
Instead of 3,000 good bond?
Yes, good bond, 3,000, yes.
You guys can do the interpreter case in courtroom 3, Judge.
Okay, thank you.
Ready? You're welcome.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. All right, this is position 12, 22 CR 004227H, Oscar Navarro Diaz. Madam Interpreter, can you raise your right hand for me? I'll swear you in real quick. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that you will faithfully interpret from, is it Spanish to English? English to
Yes,
Spanish?
Your Honor. Yes.
And that you will interpret these proceedings before this court in an accurate manner with the best of your skill and knowledge with no embellishment?
I do, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. All right. Mr. Navarro Diaz, you're charged with 1 count of DUI less safe and a 2nd count of failure to have license on person, both with the offense date of July 1st, 2022.
Señor Navarro Díaz, a usted se le acusan de 2 cargos. El primero es manejar bajo los efectos del alcohol, que lo hace menos apto para manejar o menos seguro. Y el segundo es no tener una licencia consigo. Y esto ocurrió el 1 de julio de 2022.
All right. Pre-trial, do you have anything?
No prior history, Judge.
Okay.
No tiene antecedentes penales según la historial la información que se dio acá.
Ms. Tartarello?
Yes, Your Honor. For the DUI less safe, we're asking for the 2,500 surety bond already in place to be raised to a $4,000 surety.
Sí, para el cargo de manejar los efectos del calor estamos pidiendo la fianza que se había establecido, la caución de $2,500, estamos que se aumente a $4,000.
For the no license, Your Honor, a $2,000 surety bond.
Y por manejar sin licencia, una fianza, una caución de $2,000.
So it'll be a $6,000 surety bond total.
Lo que va a dar un total de la cantidad de $100 para una fianza.
The conditions, no driving, no
Las
drugs,
condiciones, las condiciones son de no manejar,
no drugs or alcohol,
no uso de drogas ni alcohol,
no weapons,
no puede tener armas
and no new violations of Georgia law.
y no puede incurrir en ninguna otra infracción de ninguna ley de Georgia.
Your Honor, on July 1st, 2022, around 1:15 a.m., Officer Bath of the Roswell Police Department.
Okay, can you allow me to interpret? Okay. El 1 de julio de 2022, aproximadamente a la 1:15 de la mañana, un oficial de la policía de Roswell
Made contact with a vehicle,
hizo contacto con el vehículo,
a gray F-150,
una camioneta F-150 gris
parked at the Economy Hotel
que estaba estacionada en el Economy Hotel
at 995 Old Dogwood Road in Roswell.
en el 995 Old Dogwood Road en Roswell, en Georgia.
Upon completion with this conversation with the driver inside the vehicle,
Una vez que él habló y terminó su conversación con el conductor adentro del vehículo,
the officer observed the driver's eyes to be red and watery,
el agente observó que los ojos del conductor estaban rojizos y llorosos.
and he detected the odor of alcoholic beverage emitting from the driver's breath.
Y también detectó un olor de alcohol que emanaba del aliento del conductor.
The driver was later identified as defendant Oscar Navarro,
Y el conductor luego se le identificó más tarde como la persona que se encuentra acá, Oscar Navarro.
Officer Bath instructed the defendant not to move the vehicle.
El agente Bass le indicó al acusado de que no moviera el vehículo.
At approximately 1:27 a.m., another fellow officer
Aproximadamente a la 1:27 de la mañana, otro agente
observed the vehicle in motion
observó que el vehículo estaba en movimiento
in the parking lot of the Economy Hotel.
en el estacionamiento del hotel del Economy Hotel.
The officer identified the driver as a defendant and initiated a traffic stop.
El oficial identificó al conductor como el acusado y entonces llevó a cabo una parada de tránsito.
The officer approached the defendant who had already exited the vehicle.
El agente se acercó al acusado que ya había salido del vehículo.
The officer observed the defendant swaying from side to side and front to back.
Y el agente observó que el acusado se estaba tambaleando de un lado a otro y de delante hacia atrás.
And was consistently unable to maintain his balance.
Y estuvo sin poder mantener su equilibrio todo el tiempo.
The officer advised the defendant to move to his patrol car, in which the officer indicated by pointing.
Y el agente le indicó al acusado que se dirigiera, que se metiera en la patrulla de este oficial, al cual él le señaló cuál era la patrulla que tenía que meterse.
The officer observed the defendant stumble when he walked.
El agente vio que el acusado se estaba tambaleando, se estaba tropezando cuando estaba caminando.
Was unable to maintain his balance.
No pudo mantener su equilibrio.
And took an indirect route to the patrol car.
Y se fue por otro camino hacia otra ruta hacia la patrulla de la gente.
The officer spoke to the defendant in Spanish.
El agente habló con el acusado en español.
And the defendant admitted to drinking 10 beers prior to driving.
Y el acusado admitió que se había tomado 10 cervezas antes de conducir.
The defendant did not agree to field sobriety evaluations.
El acusado se rehusó a que le hicieran los exámenes de sobriedad en el campo.
And refused a preliminary breath test.
Y también se rehusó a que le hicieran un examen de aliento.
The defendant was arrested for DUI.
Al acusado se le arrestó por manejar bajo los efectos del alcohol.
And was read the Georgia implied consent for suspects age 21 or older.
Y se le leyó la ley de consentimiento para las personas de Georgia mayores de 21 años.
The defendant refused a state administered chemical test of his breath.
El acusado se rehusó a que le llevaran a cabo análisis químicos del aliento.
With permission of the defendant,
Con el permiso del acusado,
the officer was able to search his vehicle
el agente pudo registrar el vehículo
and observed an open and partially empty Modelo brand beer bottle inside a defendant's vehicle.
y observó que había un envase de la cerveza Modelo que todavía tenía contenido de cerveza adentro del vehículo del acusado.
And the defendant had no license on his person.
Y el acusado no tenía una licencia consigo para conducir.
And all these events occurred in Fulton County, Georgia.
Y todos estos sucesos ocurrieron en el condado de Fulton, en Georgia.
Your Honor, we understand that this defendant has no record.
Su señoría, entendemos que este acusado no tiene antecedentes penales.
However, we are very concerned about the public safety of the citizens of Fulton County.
Sin embargo, nos preocupa la seguridad de los residentes del condado de Fulton.
As the defendant was first instructed to not move his vehicle by the first officer who responded.
Cuando se le indicó al acusado que no moviera su vehículo cuando acudió el primer agente al sitio de los hechos.
However, the defendant did not listen and he moved his vehicle despite officers' orders.
Sin embargo, el acusado no hizo caso y movió su vehículo a pesar de las indicaciones y la orden que le dio el agente.
And then was stopped by another officer for a DUI investigation.
Y entonces se le paró por otro agente para una investigación de los efectos del alcohol.
And therefore, we have concerns that he will and may reoffend while out on bond.
Y por eso nos preocupa que él pueda volver a cometer otro delito cuando esté bajo fianza.
And we're asking for the $6,000 surety bond total.
Y entonces por eso que estamos pidiendo por la caución completa de $6,000.
With the conditions already stated before this court.
Con las condiciones que acabamos de mencionar ante este juez anteriormente.
Nothing further from the state.
No hay más que, la fiscalía no tiene más nada que decir.
Okay. I'm going to, anything else?
Yeah, please.
Go ahead.
Yes. Mr. Navarro is 53 years old.
El señor Navarro tiene 53 años.
He has been here in Georgia for 3 years.
Ha estado aquí en Georgia por 3 años.
He has 2 jobs. I mean, he has a job as a construction worker.
Él tiene trabajo y trabaja en la construcción.
He has a ties to the community.
Él tiene vínculos a la comunidad.
This is his first offense.
Este es su primer delito.
We would like to request for a signature on bond.
Queremos pedir que se le otorgue una fianza bajo palabra.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Gracias, señoría.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm going to order the $4,000 signature bond through pretrial.
Voy a imponer la fianza bajo palabra bajo convenio precondenatorio de $4,000.
And I'm going to order that there be no driving.
Voy a ordenar de que no puede manejar. I'm sorry, what was that again? He couldn't drive. And
No driving while on bond.
Que no puede manejar mientras esté bajo fianza.
If he gets a valid driver's license from DDS,
si puede conseguir una licencia válida del Departamento de Servicio al Conductor o lo que llaman aquí DDS,
then he can have limited driving privileges.
Entonces puede tener privilegios de manejar limitados.
To work.
Al trabajo.
To visit his attorney.
A visitar a su abogada.
To court.
A ir a presentarse al tribunal.
Or to receive medical attention or doctor's appointment.
Y para recibir atención médica o ir a una cita médica.
All right. And
okay.
And I guess, did I say no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond?
Dije que también no podía tener ni drogas, ni alcohol, ni armas cuando esté bajo fianza.
And Ms. Middlebrook says 2,000 for each charge. I don't know if I
Y-
said that. That's
Y va a ser $2,000 por cada cargo.
all right. Anything else I need to take up, council?
¿Algo más que tenga que tomar?
Nothing further from the state, Your Honor.
Your Honor, may I be excused?
Yes, you may. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
You're very welcome. Have a good weekend, everyone.
too. All right.
Thanks. Bye.
Position 4, Mr. Bergen.
Huh? This is 22 CR 0042228A. Terrence Bergen, you're charged with 1 count of possession of marijuana less than an ounce. The 2nd charge of no insurance. 3rd charge of knowingly driving a motor vehicle on a suspended counsel or revoked registration. And number 4 is driving defective or no headlights, all with the offense date of June 29, 2022. Pre-trial.
9 cycles with history in Georgia, Maryland, New York, Virginia, and Georgia. Last arrest, January of this year, fleeing or attempting to elude police officers. Possession or transport a firearm by convicted felon or first offender in Fulton County. That is an open case, 22 CP 205963. He was offered UJR through pretrial surrendered that bond in first appearance felony. Record also indicates an additional open case in Fulton County for driving failure to signal lane change, turn, or driving while license suspended, expired license plate, fleeing or attempting to elude, case number 22 CP 205963. Nothing further to add, Judge.
All right, thank you. Mr. Segura?
This occurred on June the 29th, 2022. This case occurred in the area of West Ward Street, Fairburn, and the timing is from a night between 11 p.m. and 1 a.m. So it's between June 29th and June 30th, which is yesterday. In this case, also one patrolling the area in which they saw the defendant whose vehicle had no operable headlights. At that point, they decided to conduct a traffic stop. And when they ended up talking to the defendant, they found that he had no proof of insurance, that his registration was canceled, and so they arrested him. When his vehicle was impounded, they found that he did have marijuana inside the vehicle. Because of this, the state is recommending a $2,000 surety bond, $500 for each count, with the conditions of no alcohol, drugs, and weapons, and no driving without insurance and valid registration. Recommendations are based on these facts, as well as the concerns that he has a risk of reoffending, because he does have that open felony case, which, as pretrial is noted, is 22 CP 205963, which is driving related. In this case, it's driving signal change, expired license plate, fleeing and eluding police, and the possession of a firearm by convicted felon. Thank you.
All right, this is Ms. Gant.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Terrence Bergen is 54 years old. He has been working in the Atlanta, Georgia area for 3 years. He does not have any family here to assist with bond, Your Honor. Mr. Bergen obtained a GED. He is currently employed at Instacart. He has been in that position for the past 2 years. Prior to that, he worked at Atlanta Comedy for 1 year. Your Honor, we are denying the allegations. My client informs me that he does in fact have valid insurance and tags. He has proof of that. Your Honor, I am requesting a signature bond on Mr. Bergen's behalf, and if Your Honor determines that he is ineligible, given that the bulk of his offenses are driving related, I would ask for a total bond of no more than $1,000, and that would be $250 for each offense. Thank you, Your Honor.
All right. I'm going to order the $2,000 surety bond, which is $500 on each charge. I'm going to order no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond. And I think that's all I have to take up. Is it not, counsel?
Also, no driving without a valid insurance and registration.
Oh, and no driving without a valid driver's license from DDS and insurance. All right, anything else?
No, Your Honor.
Nothing further from the defense. Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, thank you.
Next, Your Honor, we have position number 5, Mr. Flowers.
All right, this is 22 CR 0042331J. Nico Flowers, you're charged with 1 count of willful obstruction of a law enforcement officer. The offense date is June 30th, 2022. Pretrial.
8 cycles out of Virginia. Last arrest was March of 2017 for firearm reckless handling, firearm possession, transport by felon with intent, and trespass. That was a conviction for possession or transportation of firearm by a convicted felon. 2016 misdemeanor trespass conviction, 2016 trespass after being forbidden, misdemeanor and obstruction, 2011 felony for robbery, street use of gun or simulated firearm in commission of a felony, and a 2010 carry and conceal the weapon misdemeanor conviction. Nothing further.
All right. Mr. Segura.
This occurred on June the 30th, 2022 at the instant location of 4184 Fulton Industrial Boulevard, Atlanta. In this instance, officers saw 4 individuals running down a road, yelling that a man was beating up a woman at that instant location. An officer took off on foot to the instant location and saw the defendant walking away from a female. At that point, the officer commanded the defendant to stop, and instead, the defendant turned his back on police and ran away. While running, he was told multiple times to stop, but did not do so. At some point, the defendant hid behind a trash can in a bush and took an aggressive stance toward the officer. At that point, the officer commanded him again to stop, and which he did comply and was arrested. The state is recommending a $1,000 surety bond with the condition of no alcohol, drugs, and weapons. Our concern is mainly due to his lack of community ties. As Moses' arrest record is in Virginia, as pretrial is noted, he does have the 2011 robbery guilty conviction, 2017 possession of firearm possession conviction, and even though there was no pause, he does have a burglary arrest in 2022, which does indicate that in 2022 he was in Virginia and has weak community ties. Thank you.
All right. And what was the state's recommendation again?
1,000 surety and no alcohol, drugs, and weapons.
Okay. Ms. Gant.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Nico Flowers is 32 years old. He is a resident of Virginia. He is here visiting, Your Honor. He is the proud father of 2 children. He has a 4-year-old and a newborn. He pays child support for the 4-year-old, and he informs me that the newborn child lives with him. He completed high school, and at this time, Your Honor, he is unemployed. He doesn't have any means to pay anything toward bond. We deny the allegations. My client did not have any idea of why he's being arrested or the need to even stop for the police, Your Honor. Given the nature of the allegations, I am requesting a signature bond, Your Honor. just basically given the nature of the allegations. And he does not have the means to have anyone to help him pay bond, and he's basically stranded here in Georgia. All right, thank you, Your Honor.
Okay. I'm going to go ahead and order the $1,000 surety bond. I'm going to order no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond. And did the state request to stay away?
No, I'll stay away. Just the alcohol, drugs, and weapons.
Okay. All right, those will be that's the only condition. And $1,000 surety bond. All right, so that should conclude this matter.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, thank you.
I'm sorry, Your Honor. What was that bond amount again? My apologies.
That's okay, $1,000 surety bond.
Thank you.
Uh-huh.
Next, we have position number 6, Mr. Gales.
Okay. All right, this is case number 22 CR 0004233G. This is Randy Gales. You're charged with 1 count of criminal trespass, the 2nd count of fare evasion, both with the offense date of June 30th, 2022. Pretrial, do you have anything?
14 cycles with history in Georgia and South Carolina. Last arrest, May of 2022, for failure to appear by MARTA police. Underlying charges not indicated. Record does reflect an open case pending in Fulton County for simple assault, 21 CR 001978G. 2, failure to appear within the past 10 years, a 2022 fleeing or attempting to elude police officer misdemeanor conviction, 2017 theft by shoplifting, and a 2017 given false name conviction out of DeKalb. Nothing further to add.
All right, Mr. Segura.
This case occurred on June the 30th, 2022 at Malta, located at 235 Peachtree Street, Southwest Atlanta. In this case, officers observed the defendant walking into the station without paying the required amount by pushing through tailgates. And the police came into contact with the defendant. They found out that he was issued a Malta suspension for May 30th, 2022, which would become effective on June the 29th and on August the 28th of 2022. Because of this, the state is recommending a $1,000 surety bond, $500 for each count, no alcohol, drugs, and weapons, and to abide by Malta suspensions. Allegations are based on these facts, as well as we have concerns about him having a risk of reoffending and being a flight risk if he is released, because he does have that May 30th FTA, which was about close to about a month ago. Alongside, he does have that 2020 fleeing and eluding police conviction, and he does have that open case from Fulton County for the simple assault. Thank you.
All right, and Ms. Gant, I'm sorry. Yes, Ms. Gant.
Yes, thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Randy Gales is 64 years old. He has been in the Atlanta, Georgia area for 20 years. Your Honor, he doesn't have family here. He has grown children who, of course, in South Carolina, they do not have the means to offer anything toward bond. Mr. Gates completed high school. He is disabled and has been so for the past 3 years due to a gunshot wound. Your Honor, we are denying the allegations today, and I would just ask that based on the nature of the charges and my client's inability to pay, that he be granted a signature bond. And if Your Honor determines that he is ineligible, then I would ask for the bond recommendation to be no more than $1,500 for each offense. Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay. And which MARTA station is this?
235 Peachtree Street, Southwest.
Yeah, do we know which station that is?
I could check.
I have Garnett, Marta.
Is that Garnett Street? Garnett?
Garnett, Marta, 235 Peachtree Street, southwest.
Yeah, I was gonna say Peachtree Center, but I guess I was wrong. All right, I'm going to order a $1,000 surety bond, 500 on each charge, and to stay away from the MARTA station at 235 Peachtree Street Southwest. I won't order it from all MARTA, I'll just say from that station. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond. I think that should complete this matter.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Okay. We have, let's see, what do we have left?
Your Honor, I'm bringing up position number 7, Mr. Mark Henry.
Okay,
He's just a little discombobulated.
okay.
You got it? There you go, Your Honor.
Okay, this is 22 CR 004234E, and your name is Mark Henry, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you're charged with 1 count of criminal trespass. The offense date is June 22nd, 2022. Pre-trial?
13 cycles. Last arrest, March of this year for criminal trespass with MARTA PD. No disposition listed on that arrest. Record does reflect an open probation in Clayton County for possession and use of drug-related objects, 20 CR 03246. Sentenced October of 2021, 2 days confinement and 12 months probation. Additional open probation in Fulton County for criminal trespass, 22 CR 001183. Sentenced March of this year for 12 months probation. 1 violation of probation and 3 failure to appear within the past 10 years. A 2016 misdemeanor conviction for disorderly conduct, and 2 2014 convictions for possession of drug-related objects. 1 in Clayton County, the other in Fulton County. Nothing further to add.
All right, Mr. Segura?
This occurred on June the 22nd, 2022 at the instant location of Malta, located at 216 Peachtree Street, Northeast Atlanta. In this case, police were called to the instant location about 2 people being stuck in the elevator. And once the police were able to free the people from the elevator, they noticed the defendant left without giving his personal information to the police. Once they got more information about him, they noticed that he entered the MARTA station and to try to enter a restricted area, which is the elevator maintenance area. And in this case, they found that he previously went to the area on March 3rd, 2022, in which he manipulated elevator controls in an attempt to enter the elevator maintenance area, which caused him to get a permanent suspension on March 3rd, 2022. Because of this, the state is recommending a $2,000 surety bond, no alcohol, drugs, and weapons, and a stay away from all MARTA stations. Conditions are based on these facts, as well as the concerns that the defendant could be a flight risk, because it does have a 2019 FTA, a 2021 FTA, and as we try and noted, he does have those probation violations. And our main concern mostly focuses on, he does have a criminal trespass conviction from March 3rd, 2022, which is 22 CR 00118BJ, in which one is probation conditions was a stay away from all molestations. But as we noticed, he already broke that condition by committing this criminal trespass to a molestation as well. Thank you.
Okay. Ms. Gant?
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Mark Henry is 51 years old. He has been in the Atlanta, Georgia area for over 10 years. He has a mother here. She is elderly and of course unable to assist with bond. Your Honor, we are unopposed to the stay away from MARTA locations. Mr. Henry obtained a GED and he also went to Barber College. At this time, Your Honor, he is employed at Grassfield and Gorey General Contractors. He actually started this job less than a month ago and he desperately needs to get out to maintain that job. I did make contact with his supervisor. He informs me that he still will have that job if he is released and can return on Tuesday. Mr. Henry denies the allegations, and I also have been in contact with his brother, Your Honor. His brother is unable to assist him with anything more than $1,000 for bond surety. Therefore, Your Honor, I am requesting a signature bond based on the nature of the allegations. Of course, my client denies the allegations and he is presumed innocent. And if Your Honor determines that he is ineligible, then I would ask for a bond of no more than $1,000. Thank you.
Okay. I'm going to order the surety bond in the amount of $1,000. I'm going to order no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond, and to stay away from the MARTA station at 216 Peachtree Street Northeast. Anything else, counsel?
No, Your Honor.
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Okay.
And Your Honor, just so that we are clear, according to the warrant, it says permanent MARTA suspension in March 3rd of 2022. I want to just be sure that my client isn't given an order that will put him at risk of violating another condition.
On Mr. Henry here?
Yes, Your Honor. And the warrant, it states permanent MARTA suspension, March 3rd, 2022. And I'm not sure if that's from just the incident location or all MARTA locations. I mean, we want him to use MARTA, but certainly we don't want him violating a bond condition unknowingly.
And so we're just going to say, well, as far as the stay away just from that one station and not all of MARTA, you know, it's kind of tricky because of the fact they've already given him that ban from MARTA, correct?
That's a question directed to me?
Yes, that's what you were saying. Yes, they've already banned him from MARTA.
I do apologize. Yes, the warrant states that reads that there is a permanent MARTA suspension issued March 3rd, 2022.
So that would mean he's permanently banned from MARTA, all locations.
Mm-hmm.
But if he needs further clarification when he's released, if he is released, he can call MARTA and I'm sure they will explain to him.
That he's already under a suspension.
Right, but if the warrant said permanent MARTA ban, that includes all MARTA properties.
Usually, yeah.
But like I said, I personally have called MARTA before to inquire about suspensions, and they will gladly assist and explain as to what exactly they mean. But typically, if it says permanent ban, that means you are permanently banned from all locations.
Right. And what's the language again, Ms. Gant?
I see permanent MARTA suspension, March 3rd, 2022.
So he's got a permanent suspension, not a ban, Mr. Walker. Usually the suspension, I thought they usually give a date, don't they?
Sometimes they do, but I've also seen permanent suspensions, which equates to a ban.
Right. Mm-hmm.
But again, like I said, I've called Marta several times to inquire about suspensions. Ms. Gant, if you want to call Marta, or if your client wants to call Marta, he can call and get further clarification. But
Well,
anytime
we
that
will,
I've called about a permanent suspension is from all locations.
Respectfully, thank you, Mr. Walker, but we would request an order from the judge so that there is no confusion. Because he may hear one thing and take it to mean something totally different.
Right, but I would hate, unfortunately, for my bond order, to be in conflict with what they've already done. Because then that, just makes him susceptible to be arrested again if he shows up, which I don't want that to happen. So, Ms. Middlebrooks will put in there that we understand that there's presently a MARTA suspension in place with no termination or ending date. So while he is on bond for this charge, he is to stay away from all MARTA until he's off bond or he gets his suspension lifted by MARTA. Because I'm trying to make it not conflict, and I don't want to say just the one station if the warrant already says he's already suspended from all. So I'm going to do the same as far as the bond conditions, unless he finds out otherwise in writing from MARTA that his suspension is lifted. So stay away from all MARTA while the suspension is in place. And during the terms of this bond as well. Am I clear on that? Or does anybody have a question with what I just said?
Nothing further from the defense, Your Honor. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And thank you, Mr. Walker. All right, Deputy, I think we're done.
Your Honor,
Mm-hmm.
what about position 14, Mr. Suggs?
Let's see. Anyone have any information?
He's on the calendar.
Yes. Oh, I thought you were asking me a question, Deputy.
Oh, no.
You were telling me that's who's next.
Yeah, I thought you thought we were done.
Oh, no, I was just going through the calendar, looking to see how many we had
Gotcha.
and making sure we haven't had any releases or anything happen. I see number 10 on there, 10 and 13. Okay. And this is 22 CR 004232H. Mr. Joseph Suggs, you're charged with 1 count of battery with the offense date of 4/28/2022. Do you have anything pre-trial?
What position?
14. Mr. Joseph Suggs.
13 cycles with history in Georgia, Florida, and Ohio. Last arrest May of this year for failure to appear out of Gwinnett County. Underlying charges, driving while license suspended. No disposition listed on that arrest. Nothing further to add.
All right. Ms. Tartarello?
Yes, Your Honor. For the battery, a $3,500 surety bond. The conditions is no contact with the victim. His name is Hunter Pelt. That's Hunter, traditional spelling, and Pelt is P as in Peter, E-L-T. For him to stay away from the incident location at 2002 Cedar Chase Lane in Atlanta. If he can come back if the victim no longer lives there. But he will need a one-time escort to check the incident location to see that the victim has vacated. 1-day anger management, no drugs or alcohol, no weapons, and no new violations of Georgia law. Your Honor, on April 28th, 2022, Officer Butler of the Atlanta Police Department was dispatched to the incident location already stated on record in reference to a dispute call. Upon arrival, the officer spoke to victim Hunter Pelt, who said he was in a dispute with his friend, defendant Joseph Suggs. Mr. Pelt said the two were drinking and they had a heart-to-heart conversation that got out of hand when the defendant put him in a headlock and slammed him on the ground. Mr. Pelt said the defendant then began to punch him several times in the face and then ran out of the house. Mr. Pelt sustained injuries due to the assault, a black and swollen left eye, and a busted lip that was bleeding. Investigator G. Hall of the Atlanta Police Department reviewed the body-worn camera where she heard Mr. Pelt make a statement of the defendant was, quote, beating the fuck out of my face, end quote. All these events that occurred in Fulton County, Georgia. Your Honor, we're concerned about this defendant's risk of reoffending while out on bond. He's a multi-state offender, 2 cycles out of Ohio, 5 cycles out of Florida, 7 cycles out of Georgia. He has 2 convictions. I understand they're extremely remote. However, it does show the defendant's basically his record shows that he has violent offenses on his record. 1989, he was convicted of felonious assault out of Ohio. And again, the same charge on July 21st, 1989. So you got 2 convictions in 1989 of assault, felony assault. 2014 writ of bodily attack arrest out of Charlotte County, Florida, no disposition. 2001 battery arrest out of Columbia County Sheriff's Columbia County, Florida, which was dismissed. He has 2 FDAs on his record, one out of 2022, as you heard from pretrial from Gwinnett County, and one out of 2015 from Pinellas County, Florida, Your Honor. So he does pose to be a flight risk. We made contact with the victim. He said the victim, they were friends. The victim stated the defendant came over and they were having a conversation about the defendant owing him money. Victim denies the defendant put him in a headlock and stated that he never told the officer that. He did state that they became physical and the defendant pinned him to the ground and began punching him repeatedly in the face. The victim stated that he has since moved from the residence. Victim stated that he wants no contact with the defendant. And he said he was going to be on Zoom today. Nothing further from the state.
All right. Mr. Pelt on the Zoom. Don't see anybody with that name. All right. Go ahead, Ms. Kim.
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Joseph Suggs is 50 years old, and he has been here in Georgia ever since 1999, almost 23 years. He has a child, he's married, he's not going anywhere, he's not a flight risk, and he has a job. He's working as a bartender. He has a bachelor's degree from University of Ohio State, and business administration was his major. They don't live together. This happened in April 28, 2022. He moved out. So he's fine with the stay away from the incident location 2002 Cedar Chase. And he's also fine with not having any contact with Mr. Pelt because they have not had any conversation whatsoever ever since then. He denies the allegation of having a headlock or things like that. And we would like to request for signature on bond since his previous charges of violence is from 1989, Your Honor. It's absolutely more than 5 years. We would like to request for signature on bond. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. All right, I'm going to order the surety bond of $3,000 I'm going to order no further contact with the victim, Hunter Pelt. I'm going to order no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond. I'm going to order a one-time law enforcement escort to that property to get any personal belongings. But if at that property and the officers sweep the location, they determine that the victim doesn't have any items there, doesn't live there anymore, then Mr. Sutts can stay there. But if there are any belongings still there that belong to Mr. Pelt, then he must stay away from the 2002 Cedar Chase Lane.
Your Honor, he does not live there anymore. He actually moved out.
Okay,
Yes,
so then I'll just order blanket stay away, no one-time escort.
correct. Yes, Your Honor.
Okay,
Thank you.
all right. That should conclude this. Anything else, Ms. Tartarello?
Nothing further from the state, Your Honor.
Okay,
Judge, can you repeat the bond amount for me?
I'm sorry.
Can you repeat the bond amount for me?
Oh, it's $3,000 surety bond.
Thank you.
Mhm. And are we going South Annex Deputy, or is that?
Yep, South Annex, Your Honor.
Yes, ma'am. Position number 13 is in front of you.
Okay. This is 22 CR 004230J. Miss Amandi, you're charged with one count of simple battery, a second count of criminal trespass, offense date June 30th, 2022. Pre-trial.
5 cycles, last arrest May of 2019 for theft of service in Sandy Springs. That is an open case, 19 SC 16630. Record indicates one misdemeanor conviction, 2012, simple battery and disorderly conduct. Nothing further to add.
All right. Ms. McLeod, I'm sorry, wrong person. Ms. Tortorello, I'm sorry.
Yes, Your Honor. For the simple battery, a $3,000 surety bond. For the criminal trespass, a $1,000 surety bond. That's a total of $4,000 good bond. The conditions is that she have no contact with the victim, Shade Holston. The first name is spelled S-H-A-D as in dog, A-E. The last name is Holston, H-O-L as in log, S as in Sam, T-O-N as in Nancy. And the victim is present here in the Zoom, Your Honor. To stay away from the incident location at 1991 Deloe Drive, Southwest in Atlanta, a one-time escort, law enforcement escort, one-day anger management, no drugs or alcohol, no weapons, and no new violations of Georgia law. Your Honor, as you heard from pretrial, she does have that open felony case, 19 SC 166300 for theft of services. The offense date was January 7th, 2019, filed March 17th, 2019. This case, Your Honor, is currently on judicial hold, and it's been on judicial hold since June 27th, 2022. Because per an order issued on January 4th, 2021, the defendant did not complete PTI. For the felony case, she was granted a $3,000 signature bond through the jail and was released on March 18, 2019, and she's currently in violation of her felony bond order due to the subsequent arrest. The day before this incident, Your Honor, there's actually, I see, and if the court can take judicial notice, there was a warrant application hearing on June 29th, 2022, the case of Kaneza Almondi versus Shade Holston. So it just, it appears, Your Honor, these two parties should not have contact with each other just based on that in this case, Your Honor. On June 30th, 2022, defendant Kaneza Amandi slapped the victim, Shade Holston's hand as she was trying to plug her camera that the defendant unplugged, and was asked by Ms. Holston several times before not to unplug it. The defendant also began to use the side of her body to push Ms. Holston and stopping her from plugging her camera into the wall. The incident occurred at 1991, the incident location, Delow Drive. The residence is leased to Ms. Shade Holston, who has allowed the defendant to stay, renting her the room since October 2021 for $500. And all these events did occur in Fulton County, Georgia. So, Your Honor, she has 6 cycles. She does have a violent offense, a violent conviction. January 30th, 2012, there was a battery reduced to simple battery and disorderly, and she also pled to disorderly conduct here in Fulton County. We also spoke to the victim, Your Honor. She stated the defendant was a client of hers who used to do her hair. Victim stated she allowed the defendant to stay with her to help her out. She further stated the defendant started being violent with her at the beginning of this week and stated she wants no contact with the defendant, a stay away, and a one-time law enforcement escort to retrieve her belongings. The victim has also applied for a TPO order, Your Honor, and has an upcoming court date. And she is present on the Zoom, Your Honor. So we are, again, reminding the court, we're asking for that $4,000 total surety bond with the condition stated. Nothing further.
And let's see, Miss Holston. Can you hear me, Miss Holston?
Yes,
Okay, how are you?
I'm well.
Do you wish to address the court today?
Yes, that's fine.
Okay, let me swear you in. Raise your right hand for me. Do you affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth and nothing but the truth under the penalty of perjury?
Yes,
All right. Are you in fear of Miss Amandi?
yes, I am.
Okay, and tell me why.
I'm in fear because she's assaulted me at least 2 or 3 times by now. She also has beat my child, my youngest daughter, naked. So I fear for my children as well. I just do not want any contact with her at all. I don't want her around me. And I hope that she can get the help that she really, really needs, but I can no longer be around her.
And you all were roommates?
No, I allowed for her to come to stay in my home. I opened up my home to her. She started to give me money. So of course I accepted it. I actually transitioned my kids out of their room at one point in time temporarily just to allow her to have a bed to sleep in. And I told her that once, you know what I'm saying, my children needed their room back, that's what was going to have to happen. And that's when a lot of other stuff started to happen. She also called DFACS, making false allegations against me and my children 2 times already, and called the police several times, trying to make me look as if I am an aggressor. And yeah, just a lot.
Okay. All right. Let me hear from Ms. McLeod and then I'll make my ruling. Thank you for your input and your time. Ms. McLeod?
Yes, Your Honor. My client is 40 years old. She is a native of Atlanta. She has an associate's degree, she tells me, and until very recently had been employed with Saks. She was supposed to start a new job, she tells me, today, but of course she couldn't start it because she was locked up. She has explained to me that she is in fact the victim in this case. She has been renting a room in the alleged victim's home since October of last year. They knew each other because Miss Holston used to do her hair. She says issues started between them when Miss Miss Holston started to neglect her children, and she complained about it and told Miss Holston that if she didn't do better, she would report her to DFACS. And Miss Holston attacked her. Prior to my client getting arrested, my client had actually gone to get a warrant against Miss Holston because Miss Holston had attacked her. And that is scheduled for a hearing, Your Honor. My client, of course, does not want contact either, but she does need to go back with escort so that she can reclaim her belongings from Miss Holston's home, Your Honor. There is a previous conviction, Your Honor, for simple battery, but that is remote. It's more than 10 years ago. My client is not a danger to society. I think she is a good candidate for signature bond, Your Honor, and I would ask the court to give her one with conditions. She's quite okay with the condition of them having no further contact. Thank you, Your Honor.
Can I say something?
No.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was my client, Your Honor. I'm sorry.
No, it was me. I was asking, can I speak or say something, or is that?
No, let me speak for you.
Okay, well, can I just add that there's video evidence of her assaulting me, and
Yes,
she's
you told me that.
she's sworn in under perjury that
listen,
everything that she's saying will be proven that it's a lie because I have video evidence.
my client has video evidence, Your Honor, of what took place.
And I want to present the evidence to court and all the things that she's saying right now.
This is not the time for that.
Okay.
When you go to your hearing, it can be presented there.
Because she used to leave the kids alone, and it wasn't until I told her.
Hold on.
Okay, listen.
We're only here on the bond hearing for you.
Right.
Okay, but can I ask, how do I get criminal trespassing if it's the place that I live?
Because of the issue that happened between you. So you have to leave from there.
Right, but am I charged with criminal trespassing? I don't understand that.
Yes, you are. I read 2 charges. You're charged with 1 count of simple battery and 1 count of criminal trespass. There's 2 charges.
I guess I don't understand the criminal trespassing because that's a home that I live in and I have a rental.
You can call me later and I will explain it to you. Okay.
Okay, I'm going to give my ruling and then I'm going to explain it to you to make sure you understand. So I'm going to order the $4,000 surety bond. And I'm going to order no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond. I'm going to order that you have no further contact with Sade Holston. And I'm going to order that you stay away from 1991 DeLoe Drive, Southwest Atlanta. And the reason why you will have to stay away is because of this pending case. So if you go back there, and if you still have belongings there, then you must take a police escort with you. Do not go back there alone, or else Miss Holston will just call the police and you will be arrested.
Judge, does she have an address?
I'm sorry?
What will be her address? You putting her in pretrial?
No, surety bond. I'm sorry. I meant $4,000 surety bond. Yeah, $4,000 surety bond. I'm sorry if I said it wrong. I apologize.
You were correct, Your Honor.
Yeah, I think I did. And
Yes,
I'm going.
surety bond, yeah.
Yeah, surety bond. No further contact with Miss Holston. Stay away from 1991 DeLoe. If you need to go back, you must take a police escort with you, one-time escort to get any personal belongings that you need to get from there. So while you're on bond, you cannot go back there. You have to find an alternate place to stay until the case is over or there's been some other resolution. All right, Miss Amandi? Okay. All right, anything else I need to take up, counsel?
What's the breakdown on those charges?
Okay.
What's the breakdown?
Sorry, Miss Middlebrook. Oh, I'm sorry, 3,000 on simple battery and 1,000 on the criminal trespass. 3 and 1. This is position 10.
Yes, ma'am.
Hi. This is Ms. Paige McPherson. This is case number 22 CR 0042229D. You're charged with 1 count of simple battery family violence. The offense date is June 30th, 2022. Pre-trial?
No prior history, Judge.
Okay. All right, Ms. Tortorella?
Sorry, I had to mute myself, Your Honor.
Uh-huh.
For this case, we're asking for a $3,500 surety bond. The conditions is that she have no contact with the victim, and his name is Gregory Phillips. That's Gregory with 2 G's. Phillips traditional spelling. To stay away from 5401 Old National Highway in South Fulton. No drugs or alcohol, no weapons, and no new violations of Georgia law. Your Honor, on June 30th, 2022, Corporal Riley of the South Fulton Police Department responded to the incident location in reference to a domestic dispute. Upon arrival, the officer spoke to Mr. Phillips, who advised his girlfriend, defendant Paige McPherson, had attacked him. Mr. Phillips said the defendant pulled and ripped his t-shirt and slapped him with an open hand on the face more than once and attempted to charge him with a knife. Mr. Phillips advised that he and the defendant lived together. Mr. Phillips said the defendant was upset at him and just wanted him to leave. The defendant was gone when police arrived to the scene, and but Mr. Phillips was able to provide police with identifying information for the defendant. A warrant for aggravated assault was not obtained by police due to lack of probable cause. All these events did occur in Fulton County, Georgia. Your Honor, we understand that this is her first offense. We did speak to the victim. He said he and the defendant are in a relationship and live together. They share no children. He stated he wants no violent contact with the defendant and is okay with her returning back to the home. He also stated that nothing like this has ever happened before. Your Honor, we understand what the victim's asking. However, Your Honor, we are asking for that no contact for now because there hasn't been a sufficient cooling off period. This just happened yesterday where the victim's shirt was ripped and he was slapped in the face. So for this reason, Your Honor, we are asking for that 30, since also this is a domestic violence case and we do fear of intimidation of the victim witness, being that they're in a relationship, we're asking for that $3,500 surety bond with the conditions imposed. I believe Mr. Phillips is on the Zoom, and I believe he may want to speak. Nothing further.
All right, Mr. Phillips. Are you still with us?
Yeah, and I think he was having problems with his phone. He kept coming in, coming out. I don't know what happened to him.
Okay. All right, this is your case, Ms. McLeod.
It is, Your Honor.
All right, go ahead.
My client is 22 years old. She absolutely denies any relationship with the complaining witness, Your Honor, and that is the crux of the matter. They are actually roommates, and he's been harassing her and trying to have sexual interaction with her, and she was simply defending herself from him. My client tells me that she is not sexually active and has not ever been sexually active in her life. They are not in a relationship. She denies it. She says the complaining witness has bipolar disorder, and she noticed that recently he's been coming onto her strongly. She's had to lock her door, Your Honor, from him. She has no criminal history at all, Your Honor, and this is what is going on. I would ask the court to consider giving her a signature bond so she can get out and get back to her job, Your Honor. She doesn't want to go back there except with an escort to get her things. She wants absolutely no contact with this young man.
Your Honor, we're objecting to the statements about the victim's MH issues for that reason, Your Honor.
All right, so noted. And then what's the incident address or location?
The incident address is 5401 Old National Highway in South Fulton.
And Ms. McLeod, where does she work?
She
does she
works at, I think she told me at CVS Pharmacy, Your Honor. And I just want the court to know that she is a victim of sexual harassment.
Okay. All right, I'm going to order a signature bond, $3,500 signature bond through pretrial. No further contact with the victim, Mr. Phillips, and I don't think anybody has gotten on. A stay away from 5401 Old National Highway. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond. And a one-day anger awareness course through pretrial. Anything else I need to take up?
Your Honor, a one-time escort if she still has any belongings at the incident location.
Okay, yes, sorry about that. One-time police escort to that location to retrieve any personal belongings. Do not go back by yourself, Ms. McPherson, else you will be arrested, but arrange with law enforcement to go back if you have some personal items that you need to get from that location. It'll be on
Yes,
your bond order. Okay?
Yes, ma'am. And ma'am, he takes bipolar shots, so he forgets and says what he does.
Objection, Your Honor. Objection. Objection.
So do you have a question about your bond condition?
Listen.
You'll get a copy of it. Ms. McLeod will provide you with it if you don't get it when you leave the jail. A copy.
Ma'am, is there anything I can say? Because I'm being falsely accused. And it's
Listen,
not right.
Miss McPherson, you can call me and I will talk to you about how to handle that. We're just here on your bond today, okay? And the judge has given you a signature bond so you can get out. We will raise that when the time is appropriate, when you are going for trial, okay?
Okay, thank you.
All right, good luck to you.
That'll be all for South Annex, Your Honor.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good weekend.
You too, ma'am.
Your Honor, that concludes my business for the day. May I be excused?
Yes, you may. Enjoy your weekend.
Thank you. Same to you, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. All right, Miss Middlebrooks.
I'm ready, Your Honor.
Okay.
Position number 1 is a $3,000 good bond, reset SAP July 14. Position number 2 is a $3,000 good bond, reset SAP July 14. Position number 3 is a $7,000 good bond, reset SAP July 14. Position number 4 is a $2,000 good bond, reset SAP July 14. Position number 5 is a $1,000 good bond, reset SAP July 14. Position number 6 is a $1,000 good bond, reset SAP July 14. Position number 7 is a $1,000 good bond, reset SAP July 14. Position number 8 is a $7,000 good bond, reset SAP July 14. Position number 9 is an $11,000 good bond, reset SAP July 14. Position number 10 is a $3,500 sign-on bond through pretrial, reset further notice. Position number 11 is a $2,000 good bond, reset SAP July 14. Position 12 is a $4,000 sign-on bond through pretrial, reset further notice. Position 13 is a $4,000 good bond, reset SAP July 14. Position 14 is a $3,000 good bond, reset SAP July 14. And position 15 is a $5,000 sign-on bond through pretrial, reset further notice.
That's what I have. Anyone else have any questions or conflicts or anything?
Your Honor, briefly, I have a question. I had a transfer order that I forgot to send in, I think last week from a previous C calendar. If I send it over, will you sign it?
Yeah, I think I can.
It was from a
Was
C
it
calendar.
my calendar or was it another C?
I don't want to lie. I don't think it was yours, but I'm really not sure. But it was from a C calendar and it's been approved by the DA's office.
I guess so. We all work together here. We'll get it done.
Thank
Go
you.
ahead and send it.
Appreciate
I
it.
appreciate it. Yep. Anyone else? Nope. All right, everyone have a good long weekend. Get
too, Your
Monday
Honor.
off.
Happy 4th.
Happy 4th, yes. Take care, everybody.
You.
All right, bye-bye.